Ugh, did I do it, guys? Oh my gosh, it's so grainy. It's so grainy. Is it working? I think it's working. If one person comes into this chat, then I will consider it a success. I just need one. I just need one. Oh my dear goodness. I figured it out. All I needed to do was turn on OBS. Ah, yes. I just want you to know, Tristan, I'm thinking of what am I thinking of? Phantom Menace. The it's working! It's working! Oh my goodness. I'm proud of me too, Daniel. Boom. All right. So, guys, I have got wine. I've got water. I've got goldfish. Um, mm. Let's get started. All I had to know was that I needed OBS, which this computer definitely doesn't freak out while using. Okay. Wait a second. I said that there's no viewers anymore. Oh, bummer. Well, I'm gonna keep assuming that there are people here. Um, because I'm gonna start opening stuff up because we got the stream on Friday, which I'm definitely hoping goes better than this. But what is going to are you in your kids' room? It's very yellow. No, I'm not. I'm at my neighbor's house. Hmm. I should have been bring you your cup. You know what? You know what? You should have. You should have. But no, I'm at my neighbor's house because the fan is on at my house. Hey, Chris, how's it going, guys? What a success! I've got like 7 people that have messaged. What a successful live stream! And so my neighbors very kindly let me use their office because I can't use my house because it's just too loud in there with the fan. I'm very bright. I can move those away. Huh. Is that maybe better? It's not so on me. Is that better? I don't know. Maybe it's better. Hmm. All right. So, anyways, yes, I was needing to open up these games because I need them open on Friday. Is it better? It looks a little bit better. Quack, Jesse, quack. I'm not here. Are you going to unbox all of those games? I am. I need to because I need them for Friday because half of these or most of these are ones that people requested for me to uh, play through and learn all in one day. So I'm doing like an 8-hour live stream. So I need to have them done. It's only a little bit better. Son of a gun. Oh, but that makes the table really dark. Oh, and that also made my eyes go. How does it look? I need to see it. Is that better? But then it doesn't show the table very well. How dark is that? Uh, uh, uh. There we go. That's a little bit better. I want to see coverage of Tales of the Loop. Hey, the goal is to play that 8-hour live stream. Yes, that's what I'm doing, Chris, on Friday. Why do you have to do things on Friday? Well, that's fair. But you can see at least like the first half of it, Shira. That's a very fair point. But I'll do it on a different day. I'll do it on a different day the next time. So let's see. So you've been eaten. I got this one at Gamma. This one is 0 to 2 players. This is one that was kind of requested, not as heavily as some of the other ones. Hey Ben, how's it going? No, Jesse, he's using our studio. Is the script done yet? Oh my gosh. You know what? You know what, Jesse? Every time I give you a script, you don't use it for like ever. So no, I haven't done that script yet. I haven't done that script yet. This doesn't need. This is already unboxed quite a bit of stuff. Well, this is helpful that I don't need to unbox all of that. We have. I know you have better lights, Daniel, but you didn't want me to use it. So here I am. Should we do a competing live stream? You guys should 100% do a competing live stream. Can I watch your live stream on my phone? I would do it. I would watch your live stream on my live stream. No, I'm not currently doing it for any particular charity, Chris. If you know how to do that, then I'm happy to direct it towards that. There's not actually much here to unbox for this one. This may be that the point is the work. It's good for you. You know what, Jesse? I'm just kidding. The work is good for me. Work is healthy. Yeah, so I don't really know. I guess part of this needs to be I can't cheat. I was telling that you'll be streaming from our studio. Don't get I am getting snippy with you. I'll get snippy with you as much as I want. Um, but yeah, so what's weird about this is the point of this live stream is to just unbox it, but not really look at it and read the rules because the point of the live stream is to read the rules and learn the game like that day. So that's definitely what needs to happen. Glad to discuss if you want to give me a shout tomorrow. Using Streamlabs or OBS. Currently, I'm using OBS, but obviously, based off of the beginning of the previous stream that didn't work, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, kind of. So, yeah, currently using OBS. All right, I guess I'm just gonna put all of these. So this is Scott Alms. So he does Warp's Edge. Is it Warp's Edge? Yeah, and he's doing Wreckland Run. So looks like Scott Alms is just like a solo designer baller. Solo designing baller. And you know what? I don't even have like my nice mic. I need to get a good webcam for if I do stuff like this. I just need to get a better webcam. Ugh, I guess I just need to spend some money. Streamlabs has been good for me. Glad to discuss. Well, I'm happy to talk about it. I'm going to let you use my computer Friday. You'll be good to go. Oh, well, that makes way more sense. I don't know why they have so many bags. I'll keep them in here, but just remember that they're in here in case I need bags for this. Because I feel like pretty good about that baggage. Guys, this may not be as long of a thing because I was just going to unbox just these four, and that one's already done. So, progress has been made. I need to dip into the snacks. I'm feeling a little munchy. Got some goldfish. Got some goldfish. And a link that works. If you go to my channel, there is a new one. Devin Fox. Hello. All right. So, anyways, come join us on Quackalope. Are you live streaming right now? That's fantastic. I hope you're live streaming right now. Jesse, please tell me you're doing a competing live stream. That would just make me so happy. That would just be so beautiful. DSLR with a capture device is great for a cam too. Canon has. So I've got some cameras that I could do that with. The main issue, Chris, is not maybe. So I've got like a cam link. I've got a Elgato Cam Link like 4K, and then I've got a computer, or I've got a camera that I think should be able to do it. But the issue is that the hardware I have, the laptop I have, is not really capable of managing all of that. Not very well, it seems. This is Destiny's. If you haven't heard of Destiny's by now, you're maybe a little bit behind. But it is a, what is it? It's a storytelling game. It's a storytelling game, app driven, and I didn't realize it had miniatures. These are really pretty. But yeah, this is from Lucky Duck, and they've got this one. They've got Dark Quarter, which I've played with Jesse, which is fantastic. And I haven't jumped into this one, obviously, but I'm excited to, because I think that these story ones will either be ones that are more accessible to the people that I play with here at home, or they may be ones that if other people don't want to play, I'll just jump into it solo. Oh man, these are really thick cardboard. I kind of appreciate how thick these are. It's past our bad time. Oh my gosh. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Okay, opening up stuff. Anyways, I know that the beginning of this stream has been more so focused on how I don't know what I'm doing with streams and all kind of streaming stuff. But what do you guys want to talk about? What is the name of your wall color? This is not my wall color. This is my neighbor's house, and I would call it chalk yellow. It's very bright. Maybe chalk yellow is what I would call it. The stream is, we don't talk about Devin. And I were watching We Stole 3. Hey Jess, I miss you. I want to hang out sometime. You should come visit. I know that obviously you live in the cooler location, but you should more butter. That's actually pretty good. It's like it's not no, it's like spreadable margarine. It's like country crock. It should be called country crock. But yeah. Boop, boop, boop. Anyways, what do you guys want to talk about? You tell me. You tell me. I don't even wanna direct the conversation. Ooh, no, I will direct. Let's talk about why you didn't go to bed when you could have with that sleeping baby. Take advantage of the sleeping baby. Okay, so Chris, so here's the thing, is because last night and the last couple days, Reese, which is our newborn who's 3 months old, so I guess it's not really newborn, our 3 month old, he's been doing this thing sometimes where it really does. It looks like the skin of a lemon. Yeah, you're right. Um, he's been doing this thing where when he wakes up at night, sometimes he will. Ooh, come see me. Best horror game. Oh goodness. Okay, I'm gonna answer these questions in order. Number one, he's been doing this thing where he sleeps better on top of someone, or like while someone's holding him, and he gets stirs a little bit when he's in bed, not during the day but at night. So Amber had just breastfed him, so I was kind of trying to give her a time period in which she could sleep uninterrupted and not have to worry about him peeping, because anytime he starts to wake up a little bit, she hears it on the monitor, but she doesn't like to mute the monitor because she needs to know when she needs to go in and feed him. So I went in there to hold him and just let him sleep soundly so that Amber could also sleep soundly. So that's why I didn't go to bed when I should have. In terms of planning a trip that way, you should totally come, Chris. Would be absolutely happy to hang out and see you. Jess, best horror game. If you're talking about video games, then I have a couple different options. Number one is, I think, probably got to be Dead Space. Dead Space is just such a good horror game. Absolutely fantastic. That's like very much environmentally terrifying, because just like the sound, especially if you're using a headset. If you're using a headset while you play that, oh my goodness, that game will make you age quickly. If I was going to choose something that was a different type of game, I would probably pick Until Dawn, which is really good. Until Dawn. Gonna jet. See you later, Chris. Have a good one. And yeah, I would probably pick Until Dawn, which is kind of like a butterfly effect. It's like a butterfly effect horror game. And they have another one called Man of Medan, which I haven't played that one. And then they have a new one that's like in the Salem witch time period, kind of like horror stuff. And the horror board games. Okay, fine. I'll talk about horror board games. So horror board games, I would say, would be Final Girl, which is solo. Until Dawn was great. I agree with you. Tell Shane to shut up. So Final Girl is really, really good, but it's solo only. I mean, you could get like two core boxes in the whole set, and you could both play your solo games next to each other because it plays very quickly. And once you kind of figure out where the mat is or where the cards are, it doesn't take up so much table space. If you had a wide enough table, you could play kind of opposing each other, which would be kind of cool in a sense. But you'd want to like really invest in the game if you got two base copies with all the expansions. And then let's see, other horror games that are board games. Bloodborne, which is actually one of the video games I was going to announce or going to talk about. Bloodborne is really good as a board game too. There are some detractors that don't like it as much, but I found it to be very enjoyable. It is either a solo or a cooperative adventure, and you go through not really like a singularly connected campaign, but you go through narrative chapters or hunts, and that's pretty cool as well. So it looks like all of these book things. No, oh no, no. Yeah, all of these seem to go in there. Really, wouldn't have guessed that, but okay. Are we sure about that? Oh man, I love these dice. These dice. Shane doesn't like what? What doesn't Shane like? These dice are really nice for Destiny. They're also really nice for Dark Quarters. Actually, if we're talking about kind of a horror-ish game, Dark Quarter, which is coming up from Lucky Duck, is kind of like narrative horror and in like kind of like detective noir, but in a really dark kind of place. In New Orleans when some stuff's going on. So that's pretty cool. But oh, the other thing I was gonna say, Bloodborne, as much as you, oh. Well, just because you don't like just because you don't like the video game doesn't mean you wouldn't like the board game. Oh, red wine, yes, no, red wine as well. Well, you know what? They were being wonderful hosts, and this is what I got. Yeah, so Bloodborne is one. Name of that game as well, The Dark Quarter. The Dark Quarter from Lucky Duck. This is Destiny's. This is Destiny's. Whoop. I don't know where it's supposed to be. Yeah, it says it's supposed to be those two, maybe? Oh, no. The stuff could go here. So I guess this stuff goes here, slots in there. Maybe. Maybe so. Maybe I figured out. If you had to pick one, Cthulhu, zombie, vampire, serial killer themed board games. So my instinct would be, Cthulhu, but I say that with the knowledge that Cthulhu is kind of massively overused in board game stuff like Lovecraftian horror, also like the Arcane universe. There's just so much of it that it's almost like I'm tired of it, even though it would instinctually be my favorite. What I love about Final Girl is that it uses a really cool horror trope of like the kind of, the last girl standing, and then it flips it on its end, and it's like, no, you have to kill the bad guy. Like, This isn't going to be, so that's technically serial killer. Uh, that's technically serial killer related, but I think this was right kind of the first time around. There we go. But yeah, so it's my instinct is that's what I would prefer, but it's just so heavily used that it's just not as much of a thing that I would instinctually go for anymore, which is kind of sad. It's kind of sad that something that you like a lot is just so. Does it go the opposite way? Yeah. How does this go back? Oh, does it go this way? Maybe that's how. Oh, that's how it goes. It goes upside down. Yeah. So that's definitely like a third of Fantasy Flight games. Shane, I have played the Dark Quarter at Jesse's. We will probably do more content at the end of April when I get up there. I don't know when the gameplays will post, uh, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think it's silly to say, I was drinking while I was playing, but that didn't really take away from the fact that I had a blast. Zombies is also overplayed. I will say though, in terms of zombies, Marvel Zombies is the first. It's the first zombicide game that I've actually been interested in, and so it's one that I'm backing, hopefully getting, and that combines Marvel and zombies, so you get a little bit of horror and a little bit of superhero, and then it's an accessible game. Zombicide is an accessible game. There's a reason why it makes millions. Ooh, ugh, enjoy the Spellbinder for me. And then, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna save Tales from the Loop for the end. I'm gonna save that for the end. Not sure if you ever shared this story, but how did you end up meeting and working with Jesse on Quackalope? I've shared it, not really like privately, but just like intermittently whenever people have asked about it. So what happened is okay, Mystic Brew. I was kind of wondering when you said that, uh, but what happened, Tristan, is this. When I was I lived in Fort Worth, Texas for 3 years. So I worked in Fort Worth, Texas for 3 years, or lived there for 3 years because my wife was doing her residency, her medical residency. She's a family medicine physician. And for the first 2 years, I taught public school. I have a undergraduate degree in mid-level education, and I have a master's degree in creative writing. So I taught English and writing to middle schoolers, sixth and seventh grade. And absolutely nothing to do with the kids, just has to do with public education, and especially where I was working with co-teach classes, which is gen ed and special ed, and even sometimes pre-AP kids, kind of all mixed together. And it was not an environment that I thought was healthy for me, and I definitely didn't think it was healthy for the kids that I had to teach. And so I got burnt out really quickly over the course of those 2 years. So when my daughter was born, who is my 3-year-old, I decided to stop teaching. And I stopped teaching, and I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. And I had been getting into board games ever since like 2014 or so. And with my family, my whole life, I had been playing board games whenever we'd get together at Thanksgiving. So I decided to try to get into board games. And I reached out to, it wasn't even board games, it was also video games as well. And so I reached out to, this is It's a Wonderful World, by the way. They have a new one that just came out called It's a Wonderful Kingdom, which is a dedicated two-player version of the same kind of like universe of game design. And I'm getting this. I'm going to have Kingdom soon. And I'm excited to try this out because everybody that I hear play it seems to really enjoy it. And I wanted to dive in and check it out. Anyways, so I reached out to a bunch of websites that do video games and board games, and mainly video games at the beginning. and I love New Orleans horror. Devin, do you know one? Do I know like New Orleans? So I mean, like the last time I visited New Orleans, we went on a horror walking trip, and they kind of like talked about different ghosts and supernatural events that happen, and you kind of get to just walk and drink while the tour guide takes you around different parts of like the French Quarter and other locations around the city and show you stuff. So that was a lot of cool. You know, I enjoyed that. Anyways, Tristan, I reached out and eventually I found myself on a website called Game Tyrant, which is a sister site to another website called Geek Tyrant, which is actually a place I used to go to in college. Like I used to go to that website for stuff. And I do not know a New Orleans horror game except for The Dark Quarter, which is coming out. And I started writing for this game. No, New Orleans horror game. Yeah, yeah. So I started working for Game Tyrant. And I started writing for them, and I started off doing board games, and then I eventually shifted to. I started off doing video games, then I shifted to board games, and I just started meeting people and making contacts on my own, just reaching out and developing relationships. And after a time, Tristan, I ended up doing a couple of live plays and then also private game demos with Alex from Board Game Co. And after a couple of them, we just started to get along pretty well. And so then I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, I miss coworkers. That's the only part of a job that I actually miss. I miss having coworkers." And I was like, I also am. I mean, now I'm doing this from my own YouTube channel, but I was at the time I was like, I don't really have any interest right now in developing a YouTube channel. What I do have interest in is helping somebody build what they've already got and get it to the next stage. And that way I would be able to have coworkers. And so he said, "Hey, I'm currently not at the point where I'm even sustaining myself right now." He's like, "Because I don't, take sponsorships or anything like that." He said, I can't pay you because I'm not paying myself." So he's like, "But Jesse is trying to build Quackalope up and grow it. And so he might be interested to talk with you." So Alex from Board Game Go connected me and Jesse. And at first, I just started doing what I was doing on the website Game Tyrant for Jesse. I started writing for his website, and I was just doing blog articles and reviews and stuff like that. And then I started helping with the podcast when they were doing the podcast. And then once the podcast stopped, then I started helping do some video scripts occasionally, and I would go up to visit Alex, who also, like Jesse, would be there, and so I interacted with him more and more. And then after a while, I started to like. I think it was pretty much after Jesse had moved to Cleveland. Then we kind of got to the point where he was scaling up and needed more help, and so he asked me to join on part time with him. And so I've been working part time with Jesse and Shira for I don't know since 6 or more months since the summer or fall of last year. So that's how we met. See, this doesn't have enough bags, so I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do, which is get into this one to get bags. But Shane, Dark Quarter, Dark Quarter, and Jess too, Shane and Jess. Dark Quarter comes to Kickstarter April 12th, so you should wait for it. All right, I'm gonna put these in bags because that's what it's about. Thanks for the story. Of course. Happy to share. What else do you guys want to know? Talk to me. Talk to me. All right, this is good. You guys have been distracting me enough to where I'm not looking at the rule books at all, which is the point of this because I'm not supposed to know anything about these games. I'm just supposed to get them ready. Oh, wait, I need one for these. Wait a second. I've got this figured out. That one will go there. We'll go there. And these are all little small ones. They can all stay there in their loose bags. And then this can hold all this. Shane is making drinks, but says he was excited and will look. Fantastic. Also, Shane appreciates you. Aw, that's really sweet. That's pretty much the same thing as Shane saying he loves me. That just makes me feel good. Um, so, yeah. Oh, I started watching Moon Knight. Has anybody started that? Um, yeah, I watched the first episode yesterday, and now I know that today's Wednesday, so you can watch the first episode today, technically. Um, or I mean, that you can watch the second episode today. That's what I meant to say. Anybody else watched Moon Knight? I'm kind of curious. Here. Thank you. Um, what was I going to say? So the interesting bit about I'm really interested in mental health because I don't think a lot of shows have the chutzpah or whatever to. I don't think they have the nerve or the courage to tackle that. Oh wait, these go into that box, and it's just it's been a while since I've watched it. I can't remember what was it. I don't know if it was back in college or something or back in graduate school, but I was really intrigued by Jessica Jones because they had the gall to focus on like mental health and or on at least the perception of how our world may affect our mental health. And I thought that was really cool, and I really liked that. Look at you jumping in. Well, I've spent a lot of time around Alex and Shira and their whole community, so it's rubbing off on me. And so, yeah, I really liked the potential of what Jessica Jones was doing, which was exploring something that is rarely explored, especially in relation to superheroes. That's just not something that people focus on. And so I was really excited for Moon Knight, but I don't know. So here's full context for how I watched it, and this is either good or bad. I can't tell. I watched it while I was rowing or doing. I was exercising on my rower, and so I was rowing last night, and I watched part of it, and then I had to stop, and then I watched the rest of it, or most of the rest of it, while I was rocking my 3 month old to sleep. In both of those situations, I wasn't able to fully like watch it in the experience that I would want to, which is sitting down and like enjoying it and like focusing on all the dialogue closely. I mean, I had subtitles on and stuff, but it was the issue was is that when I got done, I was like, "Oh, I could rewatch this now and like sit down and take it in." And then I chose not to, which to me makes me wonder, is it just because I simply didn't want to rewatch a 40-minute show that I had just watched? Or was it because watching it at a suboptimal level was fine for me? Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited too. I'm excited to watch the second. I'm excited to watch the second. This is Tales from the Loop. This is a board game based off of a I don't know if it's based off the RPG, but this board game and the RPG are all based off of Simon Stalenhag's work, who is this absolutely gorgeous like Swedish artist who just creates these very atmospheric images, and this is kind of the world that's created around it. So I think Disney isn't going to do the best version of it for Disney Plus. If they did it more like Netflix Marvel shows, it would be better. I think. Yeah, so I liked Oscar Isaac. I did not really care for Ethan Hawke. Is that his name? Is that his name? Ethan Hawke his name? Um, uh, is that his name? I think that's his name. Yeah, it is Ethan Hawke. Yeah, I was right. And I didn't really like his character. And I don't know if that's Ethan Hawke's fault or if that's just the fact that it wasn't written well. That's kind of hard to deduce from a single episode. Um, so like I liked Oscar Isaac, and I thought he played, you know, he kind of the reason why I was okay with it. The reason why I was okay with it was because Oscar Isaac in Moon Knight feels like manic, crazy Oscar Isaac in like if the Oscar Isaac in Star Wars, like the new ones, if they dropped LSD and made him very paranoid, that feels like how he's playing Moon Knight, like very animated, but much more low key of a character, not like the cool hero. And I'm okay with that because I didn't mind how he played the character in Star Wars. It's just that tell us about the theme of Tales of the Loop. So Tales of the Loop is very interesting because what it does in the RPG and also the board game is that it's kind of like a Stranger Things like Cold War Stranger Things maybe because you are kids like on an island in uh, your kids on like Swedish islands, and it's a 1980s that never existed. It's like 1980s if the mood and lack of like just like the funkiness of the 80s still existed, but they had access to strange technology and there was robots and stuff like that. It's kind of like a retro punk Swedish Stranger Things, and like you solve mysteries and you deal with stuff like that. I don't know how much the board game differentiates from the RPG, but it's very much like you have different traits that you have, and so like there are elements of this that are similar to the RPG that I've done, but just kind of like it's going to be more of like a narrative adventure experience than like a what are other mechanics? What am I thinking of? Area control, worker placement, all that. Isn't everything strange in Sweden? You know, I would say maybe because I just want to go visit Sweden. But yeah, so yeah, no, I'm excited about it. I want to jump into it. I enjoyed the Tales from the Loop RPG, but most of the RPG stuff that I've done from Free League, I have been DMing it, which means I haven't got to really experience it from the player side. So I'm interested to see how this feels as a board game, which apparently on Friday I'm going to learn because it's one of the ones that enough people have requested that I need to do it. So Friday is just going to be a day of learning games. Just learning games. Anyways, Moon Knight, right? Like, I don't know. There were moments of it that I liked. And I will say this if I could give them credit, there's some really visual elements in the show that I did enjoy quite a bit. And I like it. I like it when the shows on Disney Plus take risks. How many board games have I played? Oh goodness. Nowhere near what most people would probably expect. Board games have I played? So this is the issue, and other content creators would probably differ from me substantially, but a lot of content creators they like track their plays, and just a lot of people that are like a little bit more intent on it in the hobby in terms of like data and keeping track of stuff. They like track their plays. I don't really do that. If I counted demos, I don't know, probably somewhere between 300 and 500. That seems like a comfortable range for me to sit within, 300 to 500. But um, it's that's so hard for me to just think off the top of my head. But probably somewhere within there because I own over 100, and I've culled out of my collection maybe close to 70 or more. So that's close to 200 already right there. And all of those I've played. If I haven't, well, some of them in my collection I haven't played, but a decent amount of my collection I've played, most of them. Other than the last three conventions, I had all of them played. And then all of the ones I've called, I've at least played once to see whether I like them or not. And then I've played plenty at other people's houses and demoed a bunch of games when I was doing reviews and also just as a content creator now. So yeah, 300 to 500. I mean, I know that there's plenty of people in the hobby that outstrip me by far. I mean, there's plenty of people in the hobby that own more games than I have played lifetime. But I don't really ever have the desire to own so many games that I can't play them. I wanted to have enough games that I play them, and that's kind of about it. How much square footage in your house is used for board game storage? Honestly, not that much. I've got a 5 by 5 Kallax, which holds, 20, that's math, 25 separate cubes, and I have a bunch of games in there. And then I have a bunch of games in my entertainment center where I have the TV and my consoles in the middle, and then on the right and left side, I have bookshelves. And other than those two bookshelves, like floor to ceiling bookshelves, and then the 5 by 5 Kallax, I don't have anything else in my house for games. They all are supposed to be in the office. Part of that is due to the nature of my house right now, but also because me and Amber both don't really want the house to be completely taken over by board games, which I think is fair. Like, if I have so many board games, they're spilling out into all different parts of the house. Am I really playing all of them? And that's kind of one thing that I want to keep my mind on. So, anyways, Moon Knight. I'm interested to watch the second episode, but I'm not fully convinced yet. And part of that is because Disney Plus seems to be a great place where they experiment with visual and narrative styles, but never go as far as I wanted to. Like Scarlet Witch got weird, but nowhere near as weird as I wanted it to be. And uh, uh, Falcon and Winter Soldier, it got political, but nowhere near as political as I wanted it to get. And then Moon Knight is trippy, but I really want it to be more trippy. Those are goldfish. 100%. These are goldfish right here. Oh, mm. I'm here for you guys. Mm, 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 mm. Those are goldfish. They're 100% goldfish. 100% goldfish. I'm here for that. Mm. I'm gonna need drinking. Disney Plus tends to just be setups for the next movie, not an actual series. I can agree with that, Shane, but where I disagree, or maybe not disagree, but where I wish it was different, is that I think Disney Plus could be the best space for creativity in all of Marvel because it's not mainstream cinema, but they're not taking as many jumps as I want. And I think part of the issue is I think they need to like lock part they need to make a mature Disney Plus. They need to make a part of Disney Plus where it doesn't have to be PG or family or PG-13 oriented. They need a part of it that can be darker and more adult. What are your thoughts on dark lower cabinets in a kitchen. Um, hmm. Dark lower cabinets. Part of the issue with dark lower cabinets would be whatever the color your floor is. And then it would also be a matter of like, how is your lighting in the kitchen? Does it like soak up? Send us. Oh yeah, I'll send you some goldfish. I'll send you so many goldfish. Hey Heath, how's it going, Heath? Hmm. The first live stream was a bust, so I'm just happy that at least some people made it here. Now I know what I need to do though with OBS. That's a little bit better. Guys, I fully unboxed that. Light wood floors, overhead lights. It depends on what color they are and what material they are. Do they have a wood grain? Is it dark but you can still see the grain? Is it matte? Does it reflect the light awkwardly? Um, I would just have to see it. I couldn't like approve or disapprove without being able to see because there are ways in which it works. There are ways in which it works, but there's also ways in which it would look ugly. So, I don't know. So these have to go onto something, but I don't know what they go on. What would they go on? Do they've got to have a readout on them somewhere. Where's the readout? I don't know. Nice little dual layer boards. How's the fam and the spaceship fan? You know what? The family is doing very well. My little kid is adorable. All three of my kids are adorable. And the spaceship van continues to impress. Absolutely continues to impress. Because it's not a 1998 Camry. And so hard to not beat it. Hard to not beat it. I don't know where this attaches to. What is that supposed to go to? Got A, B, B. I don't even know what this is supposed to go to, guys. Um, yeah, no. Disney Plus 100% needs a dark imprint because otherwise, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to compete with stuff like what Netflix can do. Hey, George. How's it going, George? I hope I distracted you from work that you did not want to do or that you did want to do. But yeah, I don't know. You know, Netflix, and here's part of it is that you know Disney Plus will never have something like Squid Game because it's never going to have something that captures all because you can only have so much superhero stuff. Like you have to have something beyond the fact that it's superheroes that's going to engage a wider audience of people who want to watch something that may be superhero related but does something other than just that. And currently, Disney Plus is not taking the plunge to do just that. I don't know where this stuff goes. I just don't know. Because does it fit like that? Does that fit that way? Kind of. Sure. Best streaming platform. Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, if I man, that is tough because honestly, if I didn't have kids, I'd be much happier with Disney Plus because I wouldn't be so inundated and numbed by all of the content on there. But at the end of the day, I really like Pixar movies. Like, I have no problem with animated films at all. I would say probably the biggest lack of a draw for Disney Plus for me would be yeah, that's fair. They're thinking about it in very much business terms rather than content terms, which is why if I have to respect a streaming platform for what they do, I'm always going to respect either Netflix or HBO Max over Disney because Disney is very much more like they're focused on what they're focused on, and yeah, Shane is the lead character of Up. I agree with that. I think that's solid. I think that's solid. I don't think anybody could argue that point. Does it go there? No, I don't know where these go. Maybe I don't know where they go. Let's see. Best streaming with kids and without. Best streaming with kids to me is going to be hands down Disney Plus because there is a finite amount of stuff that they can access. With Netflix is kind of like the YouTube of streaming. They can find anything there and you have to regulate that. And if you don't want to do that, something like Disney Plus is much more like feasible. And then my favorite is probably either Netflix or HBO. Netflix, here's why I like Netflix. Netflix wins for me because of comedy specials and documentaries. Netflix wins because of documentaries, comedy specials, and then just random shows. Stuff like the cooking shows that you and I watch. That's just not really going to be on HBO. Yeah, it has parental restrictions. Yeah, no, you 100% it does. You have to go do the work for that, which is okay. If you want, I don't have to think about it. They just get particular stuff. I was just home and my 5-year-old niece watches YouTube about 18 hours a day. 18 hours. Yeah, I mean, I know you're exaggerating. I hope you're exaggerating, but that's insane. That's absolutely insane. Uh, Yeah, Netflix just has too large of a variety to ignore them. If I have to appreciate like the prestige level of stuff that I enjoy from HBO Max, I really like a lot of stuff that they have on there, but they don't have enough variety to compete with Netflix. Let's see. Um, how old will my kids be before they're allowed on YouTube without restrictions? So Avery actually, he started off without restrictions, but we have him on YouTube Kids. And I will have him on YouTube Kids until he's about 13, probably. Like when you phase out of YouTube Kids in terms of like age is probably when I'll have him do that. And even then, like part of what I want to do with my kids is make sure. Made me want to die. Um, what I want to do with my kids is slowly phase them to the point where they they have like viewership intelligence. I want them to have viewership intelligence on what makes sense for them to watch. I don't want them to go to YouTube for just anything. I don't want it to be a I don't want to pay attention to you or I don't want you to do anything. And so I really want them to go to YouTube to watch specific things like I do. I go to YouTube for certain channels and certain content and entertainment that I like. I don't go to YouTube to just turn off my brain, be on a screen, and have that be the babysitter. I never want YouTube or the internet to be a digital babysitter for my kids. I want it to be something that I can regulate, moderate, and make sure that they learn intelligence. I watched The Thing when I was 2 and I turned out just fine. You are an exception, George. That is terrifying. I watched The Mummy when I was like 6 and I had nightmares for a month. I don't know if this is there's got to be something that goes in here, but I just don't know where it is. Um, that's infinitely better than my niece. Don't go to YouTube for medical advice. The thing The thing made you a better person. Guys, I don't know where. Like it has. Oh, does it go on the board? I bet it goes on the board because that's what happened in the other thing. Yes, Brendan Fraser Mummy. I watched it when I was like 6, and specifically the only scene I saw when I was going downstairs to like check in on what my brother was doing is I saw the scene where the scarabs go into the merchant's arms and then up to his brain, and then he ran into a wall and died. That one scene where the merchant or whatever, the greedy guy, got killed by the scarabs and it went in his brain. That's the only scene I saw from that when I was like 6. So I did find where this goes. You shouldn't admit that again. Sorry. It's definitely Carlton's fault. He was the one who was watching it. Him and it was his birthday. It was his birthday. Eh, let me see if I can get this in. There we go. Okay, that's in. And now I just need to go from this side. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. And now that'll go. Cool. Okay, so now I can do that from this side. Let's just go all the way through. Uh, yeah, it's a great movie, Allison. Fantastic movie, Allison. But just it scared the poop out of me when I was that age. Scared the poop out of me. I don't know where all this goes. This has to go somewhere, but there's not enough bags for all of it. I need more bags, which I don't have. I mean, this is enough to hold some of it. We'll see how much of it I can hold. TWSS. TWSS. Watership down. What is Watership down? It is Watership down. I'm gonna look that up. Now I'm curious. Watership down movie? Oh my gosh. It's, you have an interesting nightmare fuel. Ah! I don't know. What else? What else you guys when you were talking about? Yes, yes. That is what she said. It is. All right. All of this can go in here, I think. That involves gas warfare and that's terrifying. What a horrible movie for kids. I will say this though. I will say this. In terms of kid movies that are for kids, have you got your copy of Veiled Fate yet? I do not, Allison. And here's the thing I was bummed about is my shipping notification said it was supposed to get in today, but it didn't come in. It it was supposed to come in, but it's still in Florida. Like it just left Florida today. So it's coming to Arkansas. So maybe it'll get here tomorrow, or maybe it'll get here Friday. But I cannot wait for it to get here. I'm very much enthusiastic about it arriving. It just has not yet. You watched it in school. That's messed up. That's messed up, yo. All right. I think I've found enough baggies across this game to put stuff in. I can go there for now. This can get, well, that stuff it can't go too much on top of it because that stuff can all go there. These guys can all go here. These things can go here and here. Actually, all that stuff might be able to just fit. Might be able to just fit there. Sure. Are you still as hype on Veiled Fate as you were at PAX? Yes, I played it 3-player with Jesse and Shira, and that gameplay is going to come out at some point. I had a blast again. I really enjoyed it. Um, Also, Shane, one thing that you might not know, because I don't think I really realized it when I was talking about it at PAX, is when you get to like 7 player, like 7 and 8 player, you have teams, but you don't know who's on your team. So you're trying to like boost a color, and somebody else is trying to boost that same color, but you don't know who it is. And so I think that's really cool. And I'm excited to try that at some point. Mine was a day late. Oh, okay. That makes me feel much better, Allison. If yours was a day late, then mine will hopefully be here tomorrow. Because it's got to make it all the way here from Florida, and then once it gets here, like I think it just has to make it to Little Rock, and then it shouldn't be too hard after that to arrive. Speaking of nightmares, last game that stuck with you in a good way, maybe made you lie awake thinking about it. Ooh. A game that made me lie awake thinking about it. Rainbow Six Siege, or just Six Siege, the board game. It's coming up from Mythic Games. The Kickstarter or whatever is already done, or the Game Found or whatever. It's already done, but absolutely, that was a lot of box fart. Absolutely, Six Siege was a game where anytime you make a mistake, it is painful, and you're like, oh, like I literally just lost one or two of my operators because I made a blunder, and like you feel that, and you're like, wait a second, if I had just maneuvered them in a different way, if I had utilized one of their tactical abilities, I wouldn't have suffered that loss. So definitely Six Siege, which I cannot wait for that game to get in. It's a 2 player game. I mean, I think they say you can play it at 4, just like Rebellion and all those other ones, but it's a 2 player game, and oh, I cannot wait for it. Cannot wait for that game. Definitely kept me up on the mistakes I made. So just like the video game, but in a really cool way. But yes, also the video game is one I love, so I am hype on that. Do you think that at large player counts it plays very different and then things get very you do think that at large player plays very different? Yeah. So I'm very much interested to see how a larger player count for Veiled Fate functions, because the designer of it, Austin, like the guy who's it's his baby, his 2 favorite player counts are 2 and 7, which is that just does not happen in games. There's not another game that I can think of that is exciting equally so at 2 drastically different player counts like that. I mean, that's so different. So very much excited to try that out. Very much excited. Jesse and I actually we published the video where we unboxed it, and then we've got another video where we talk about the lore, and then we've got a 3 player gameplay that's coming out, and then we'll probably film more when I go up at the end of the month. Which movie do you want translated into a board game? Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. What movie do I want translated into a board game? Movie. One, two, 3. Yeah, dude, Allison. That was the first Kickstarter I ever backed as well. Awesome. Jess, answer to your question. And maybe this is a cheat, but V for Vendetta, which I know V for Vendetta came off of the graphic novel first, but I would love to see a board game version of V for Vendetta. And then TV show, that was the other way I was gonna cheat. I would love to see a board game homage to Band of Brothers. Let me see other movies or TV shows that I want, but V for Vendetta and Band of Brothers. What are some other ones? Hmm. Hmm. Ooh, Fifth Element. Fifth Element would be visually a mind fuck. Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. But it would be a lot. It would be a lot. My Fifth Element would be crazy. Never Ending Story would also be visually crazy. And the current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. I don't know what that means. Sopranos and West Wing. Those would be good picks. Let's see what else. What else that is a movie or a TV show would be good? Hmm. How does V for Vendetta play? That was one thing that I was kind of wondering is what kind of a game would that be? Oh, V for Vendetta would be a hidden movement game. It'd be a hidden movement game where one player could be like the government. No, 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 hidden movement. You would it would be V it would be V is trying to evade the government. No, is trying to evade the government while all of the different government forces are trying to bring them down. And the interesting thing is you could have one of the government players could turn traitor at some point during the game, just kind of like how the police officer came on V's side at the end of it. Ah, now I want to do a V for Vendetta board game that's hidden movement. That would excite me. There you go. Yeah, the hidden mover is the good guy. There you go. There's the angle. There's the angle right there. It would be a Allison. It would be a that'd be a good board game. And the question is, what angle would you take with it? What would you do with it? Hmm. What would be a good angle for it? Like hidden movement, or not hidden. Sorry, not hidden movement, but worker placement. Worker placement, maybe. There's a board game for it. Who came out with that? When was that published? Hmm. Oh, okay. At Comic Con. Now I want to look that up. Hmm. There's a Clue game, a Monopoly game. Oh wait, Evil Below maybe? That's probably it. Evil Below probably. 2019. Yeah, 6.8. Hmm. I told the guy my criteria was that it wasn't an 8 hour long game, and he called out Twilight Imperium as what I was talking about. Very shocked. Very much shocked. Trying to think of other movies or TV shows that I would want done. My Googling skills are fantastic. Thank you very much. Hmm. What would work? What would work? Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, Just in case you guys came in late, I have unboxed 4 board games because these are part of the board games that Goldfish or Cheez-Its if you had to pick one. Oh, ugh, that's tough. Goldfish. Goldfish, actually. Because Cheez-Its, they have the salt on them. So the sodium, like it makes me thirstier faster. Goldfish are just, there are times when I like Cheez-Its more than I like Goldfish in terms of just like the intensity with which I am satisfied with them. But Goldfish are just such a staple. They're such a standard. They're like I. There are times when I'm like, oh, I don't want like I don't want Cheez-Its because I don't want to chug like 32 ounces of water as well. But Goldfish I could always have. Anyways, what I was saying is I unboxed those 4 games right here because I'm going to be doing a live stream on Friday. I'm going to try and make it like an 8-hour live stream where it's just me learning how to play games. And I'm going to have hopefully a top down camera as well and the frontward facing. And this is just me getting games out of my unplayed cycle. White cheddar Cheez-Its, that's an option. Kraft mac and cheese or Velveeta. I grew up on Velveeta mac and cheese, but Amber grew up on Kraft mac and cheese. And Amber's way has won at the house, just as I grew up on Peter Pan and Amber grew up on Jif, and Amber's way has won. Oh, thanks so much, Shane. And I will say this, though. I normally give Amber crap whenever I can. But I think I am a convert. I think I like Jif more than peanut butter because there was an instance where I had peanut butter within the last year. I had Peter Pan peanut butter within the last year, and it made my mouth dry and it did not taste good. And I was like, I don't know if this was just a bad jar of Peter Pan or if Jif is that much better that I substantially disliked Peter Pan after I had it for the first time in years. Ah, my sister liked Velveeta. So yeah, Velveeta shells. Velveeta shells is what my mom always made. My girls, of course, like the opposite. Yeah, yeah. So you always gotta make different ones. Um, uh, yeah, that's a tough one if they like different ones. Though, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. And maybe this is the concession, Allison, is Kraft. I'm telling mom, go ahead. Um, Kraft actually makes Shell mac and cheese. Um, Shell makes Kraft mac and cheese. They're called 3 cheese. And so you can get Kraft, but you can also get Shells. And so maybe that's a compromise. Maybe that's a compromise, Allison. Try it out next time. Amber also makes pretty bomb ass. I don't. Am I allowed to curse on live stream? I don't know if I am. Whatever. Amber makes really good mac and cheese. She usually makes it around Thanksgiving time. It's homemade. It's got like Gruyere and Romano. It's got a bunch of cheese in it. Bunch of cheese. Nom, 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 nom. What does he say no to? Easy Mac. Easy Mac. What is Easy Mac? Does she put cheese or breadcrumbs on top of hers? She just puts cheese on top of hers. I don't think she has breadcrumbs in that dish at all. It takes up like a whole 9 by 11. It's a massive pan. I'll get you some goldfish if you want. I'll send you a thing of goldfish. You know I will, Jess. You know I will send you goldfish. Easy Mac sounds disgusting. I've actually never heard of that brand. Anyways, breadcrumbs on mac and cheese is overrated. Yeah, Amber doesn't do it. She just we bake it to the point where the cheese on top gets like a brown crispiness to it, or like not crispiness, but a brown, nice, you know, like firmer edge. Ooh, La Crusade Dutch oven, nice. Those do a really good job. I think Amber's is a La Crusade. I think maybe it's not, but I think it is. Quackalope sent me here. Love the content so far. Just subscribing. Thanks so much. Much appreciated, Board Games, Books, and what? Is he still doing a live stream? I wonder if he's still doing a live stream. But appreciate you subscribing, and I look forward to my future videos as well. Speaking of which, on Friday, I'm going to be doing an 8-hour live stream where I learn how to play the games that I haven't read the rules for, and then I play them on camera. So if you want to join for that, that's what my Friday is going to look like. You know, he started doing that. I wonder. I'm gonna see. I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna go on my YouTube and see what he's doing. Let me go to my subscriptions. I need wait. I need to. Yeah, I need to remove that. Yeah. Uncross streaming. Boom. There we go. We will watch from our house and cheer you. You know what? That's totally okay. It's a live stream inside of a live stream inside of a Taco Bell inside of a KFC inside of a live stream. Oh, I need to turn that the well here. Let me just. I'm just gonna turn the volume off. There we go. You need a series called "How the F Is This Played," where you drunkenly bumble through a new game with zero prep. That sounds amazing. That sounds like right up my alley. I would love to do that. I would absolutely love to do that. I also think that, I mean, it would depend on the publisher. Publishers might also find that amusing if you find the right publisher. Certain publishers would not probably want that. Ah, you know what? You know, I'm gonna do the same thing. They just showed my thing on here. I'm gonna show their thing on here. Hey, this is Jesse and Shira, and they're live streaming right now. I'm showing them. I wonder if they know that I'm showing them. Boom. Live stream inception fully realized. Fully realized. Whew. I showed your live stream too. Yeah, I can be cool. And Blanton's is delicious. This is difficult. I can't cross my streams too much. Friends or Seinfeld? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Um, I haven't really watched either of them to a heavy extent. I've probably watched more Seinfeld than I have Friends. Probably watched more Seinfeld than I have Friends. I'm sure you are boosting their live stream by premiering it here. Screw you, Shane. um, one type of game that would never be used again. Type of game that would never be used again. What would it be? Um, what games do I not care for? What type of games do I not care for? Oh, that's a tough one. That's a hard one. Uh, what are there are some types of games that I just don't love. Um, I don't know if this works. I don't know if this works as an answer, but I would say low player interaction. I play a game, sorry, let me specify because I am getting more and more interested in solo games. So I don't want to say solo games. What I mean to say are multiplayer games where the way that the mechanics work, like necessitate or encourage low player interaction. It means people aren't necessarily engaged because they're so focused on what they're doing. And that could be roll and rights, where you're just like maybe using the same dice that everybody else is, and you're not really chatting and you're just writing on your own thing. It could be games where they function kind of like multiplayer solitaire games, where everybody is focusing or maybe using the same board or the same state of the game, but it's happening in an isolated fashion. So, for example, like Rolling Rights would be Rolling Realms. I think Rolling Realms is a fantastic solo puzzle from Jamie Stegmaier and Stonemaier Games, which is a publisher that I really enjoy. They do Tapestry, they do Wingspan, but Rolling Realms is yeah. Ticket to Ride to me is boring because you have negative player interaction by the fact that you can like hate draft certain routes or do certain routes to interfere with people. But it's really just like you're doing your own thing and you happen to be on the same board as other people. So yeah, Ticket to Ride is one that I kind of wrote off years ago and have not played since. But maybe I will at some point to see if I still feel the same way. But Rolling Realms from Stonemaier Games, you only use the same dice that everybody else has. You like one person rolls it and everybody uses those numbers on their own board. And I like it a lot solo because it's got this system where you're sitting there and you're trying to puzzle out where to allocate numbers in the most like best fashion. But everybody's doing that. And they're all doing it quietly at the same table. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's not really a game group one. It's not something I would play with a game group. I agree with you, Ben. I think it's more solo for me. It's not one that I would introduce to people. So I would say in my collection personally, Jess and Ben, anybody who's in on the conversation right now, is I don't love Seven Wonders as much because it's a drafting game, a simultaneous drafting game where you are focused on what the person to your left and to the right is doing, but you're not really engaged with them. You're just quietly looking at what they're doing. Yeah, you're like, okay, they have that. They have that. I don't want them to get that, and I don't want them to get that. And that's really all you do in Seven Wonders. There's almost no talking, like almost none. And I played it with Alex this last time that we were. I played it with Alex and a couple other people when I was up in Ohio last month, and it proved my point. Yes, you focus on people but you don't talk to them. And between two castles of Mad King Ludwig, you have to talk to them because you're building the castle with them. And so I think that's a much better simultaneous drafting. If you have played Seven Wonders, I encourage you to try Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig because I think it's better. If you have, oh, Amber's here. Hey, babe. I'm still on. I'm still live right now, but I can be done in a little bit. All right, later, babe. I'll try to wrap up in a decent amount of time to where I could be present with my wife. Seven Wonders is good in the respect that it plays at seven players fast, but it's all everyone running the marathon almost. Yeah. So Between Two Castles, Mad King Ludwig does the same thing though, but you're actually interacting with at least two of the people. Yeah. Hey, Cameron. I do like plans. I think it's really good. I've had it several times now, but I haven't bought it personally for myself because it's expensive. I got it for my cousin and his fiance because I love them and I like them and I know that they would drink it more frequently and more appreciatively than I would. But yes, I will tell Amber hi for you, Jess. Let's see. What was the question I missed? If you had a dinner party and two people were into board games, two weren't, and two were casuals, which games would you suggest? No Thanks is one that I would suggest. No Thanks is a card game where you have counters and where you have a deck of cards that's between like 3 and 35. Very much appreciated, Jess. You're super sweet. So, um, what was I gonna say? So No Thanks. It is a card game where you wager whether you want it or not. Like if you don't want a number, you have to say no thanks and you put one of your markers on it. And then it goes to the next person. And it could go around and around and around until somebody decides to take it. When they decide to take it, they get all of the counters that have been placed on there from players that have said no thanks, and then they keep the card, except the card is points, and you don't want points. You want the lowest score at the end of the game. So you're constantly balancing. And if you run out of counters, you just have to say yes to the cards that are there. So it's very fun and goofy and easy and accessible, but it's still enjoyable for people that like board games because you're always trying to determine, you're like, wow, that's a 30 out there, and that's a lot of points, but it's got 16 counters on it, and I've only got three left. Do I have a chance of if I say no one more time, will it get around to me and I can then take the card? Or is somebody else going to take it and they're going to get all those counters and I'm only going to have two or three left and then I'll have to take whatever comes up. So it's like, well, a 30-point card and, 16 counters is really actually only worth a net value of 14 points, which you don't want. So really clever, really accessible, super easy game that would be both casual people and people that are into board games, and then even people who don't like board games would not necessarily feel like it was a board game. But yeah, other ones that could work with that kind of player counts. I enjoy playing those sort of roll and writes a lot. If I'm playing with people I actually want to talk to. Yeah, I mean, so Ben, I love roll and writes. I think they're really fun, but I they sit within a realm of roll and writes are weird for me because they do the low player interaction typically, but they effectively have the same result as different games that I don't like, which is just games that happen to have no real player interaction. Like Azul. Azul is fine. Like I think it's a very accessible, very popular game, but I could literally play that game and not talk to anyone. I would not have to say a thing to them because I can't stop what they're going to take, and I can't. I mean, I can hate draft, which is fine if you're playing it like two players. But if you hate draft in a game that's like three, four, five people, that screws you over more than it screws over someone else. So games with low player interaction are ones that I typically am underwhelmed by. Down forces one. We like code names and just one. I have not played just one. I have played code names. I know a lot of people like code names. Hey, gotta go to sleep though. Cheers, bud. Thanks a lot, Ian. Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate you stopping to say hey before you went to bed. Hope you have a fantastic evening and that you get some good sleep. There is sticker stuff on the bottom of this, and I want to turn. Stickers bother me. Stickers bother the crap out of me. Oh my goodness, I hate stickers. Get off of the cup. All right. Yes, Allison, I want to try Codenames. I want to try Just One. Just to I've played Codenames, but I've wanted to try Pictures and Duet and the other ones and stuff like that. But I have not played Just One. Oh. So, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? How long have we been going? An hour and a half. Dear goodness. Time has flown, fled. Thank you for all the viewers, concurrent viewers that are still here, people that have come and gone. Much appreciated. But I need some feedback, guys. Hey Dale, much appreciated. I hope you had a great time, Dale, with Jesse. I know that you came up and played a ton of games with him. I hope you had a great time. Game you're most excited for that's coming up? Probably Six Siege. Six Siege, I'm really. You know what? Let me actually go through my Kickstarters. Let me go through my Kickstarter stuff. Um, Let me go through my Kickstarters, and then I'll let you know specifically. Favorite mezcal, favorite tequila. Right now, favorite tequila is the Addictivo. Oh no no no. Okay, two of them. Addictivo, like the $100 bottle of extra añejo, is just pure bliss, super sippable. So, but also if I'm gonna go with just a basic, buy it all the time, Azuña. I think Azuña is delicious. Azuña is such a good brand of tequila. Did you like the Azuña? Did you like it, Jess, when I sent it to you? Um, Let me look up my projects. Save projects? No, not that. Where's my stuff? Probably a better question. Up and coming game that isn't getting enough press. That's a valid point. Too bad you chose Gamma over a random dude you've never met. I didn't know you were gonna be there, Dale. How's that my fault? I didn't know you were gonna be there. Um, why won't it show me my what I'm backing? Here we go. View all back projects. There we go. SJ and I had some. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really liked it. But Addictivo is the one I've been getting here that I've really enjoyed. Uh, okay. Going into my Kickstarters that I've backed. Tidal Blades 2, excited for. Unsettled, I'm excited for. Marvel. Oh, ooh. So this one has actually, it did really, really well. This campaign did really well, but I'm still super excited for it. It's called Senjutsu Battle for Japan. Oh, mwah. There we go. Let me actually go to the campaign. Let me see if I can see the campaign. Show details? No. Update. Here we go. Okay. Senjutsu Battle for Senjutsu Battle for Japan, a tense, fast-play samurai dueling game with beautiful miniatures, expansive deck crafting mechanics, and memorable showdowns. This game did 11,500 backers and almost €1 million. Let me go to the main campaign page. So, it is a 1 to 4 player samurai skirmish game set in the Warring States period of feudal Japan. Playing as a unique samurai, you will battle opponents in tense thematic duels that will decide the fate of your clan. It is like a hex based board, and you have these awesome miniatures that I got ink washed. 1 to 4 is the player count. And I cannot wait for it. there were a couple reviews that I saw. It's Senjutsu, Senjutsu, and let's see, just has a lot of content that my deluxe pledge of it has coming in. And I just liked the idea of like a fast paced skirmish game with a deck mechanic that was set in, like, I love feudal Japan, like samurai, Ronin, ninja, all of that stuff I adore thematically and just like culturally. So Ghost of Tsushima, fantastic game. If you haven't played it, really was excited about it, but definitely cannot wait for Senjutsu to come in. Super excited about that one. That's probably the campaign, other than Six Siege, that I'm the most pumped for out of the ones that I know are coming, of the ones I've backed. Ooh, there's actually on GameFound, there's a couple other ones that I'm excited about. Let me actually go to GameFound and see which ones I've got there. Um, oh, that's why Amber wants me back. I'm gonna come to a close, guys, because I need to help with the baby. So yeah, I can stop and come. Let's do this. Anyways, so the last thing I'll do real quick is go on GameFound and show you my projects, or just talk about my projects and see which one I'm excited for, and then that'll be it. That'll be it. Boop. What's your favorite game that you never get to play? That I never get to play? Easily either Star Wars Rebellion or Forbidden Stars. Um, Forbidden Stars and Star Wars Rebellion are like two of my favorites. Star Wars Rebellion, though, is just like a two-player, and Forbidden Stars can be two, three, or four. Absolutely, Cameron, Forbidden Stars or Star Wars Rebellion. Those two, I would happily play those whenever I could. Okay. What's in my cart? Oh, yeah, I need to fix that. My backed projects. Besides Japanese, which you mentioned, is there a setting or genre that you think isn't represented enough? Isn't represented enough? Probably like probably South Asian. Oh, thank you so much, Jess. That was really sweet. You did not have to do that. I much appreciate that. Do not ever play Forbidden Stars. Why don't you want to play Forbidden Stars? That's not nice. That's not nice. Uh, South Asia is definitely one that I think is underrepresented in terms of like a culture. In terms of a setting, I don't know. That's hard to think of. So many of them are repeatedly come back to. Maybe just like pre-civilization, maybe. I don't know. That's the setting is a harder question. I'll have to think about that. Ooh, ones I'm super excited for: Chronicles of Drunagor. Um, I don't think that's necessarily true, but maybe. Who knows? Chronicles of Drunagor is one of my favorite adventure games that I've had a chance to play. Um, is that all of them? Is this all of them? Or For Glory, I'm super interested in, but Six Siege is on here too. Uh, yeah, I'll point out all the ways that it is wrong. Every I make you go. You didn't make that move. You're very complimentary. I appreciate it. Um, what I'll say, guys, is I need to go be a dad and help with my kid. And so, yes, thank you, Jess. Amber needs me. I'm gonna phase out. I'm gonna say bye. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for asking questions. For family, friends, subscribers, all of you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for dealing with someone who has never done a live stream before, and I am grateful for this was fun. I'm excited to do it again on Friday. And that time I'll be learning games and even less focused than I am now, which is not a lot of focus. So I hope you have a wonderful time, guys, and I'll see you later. Ah! Ah!